Why is it that the very things we run away from are sometimes the very places God chooses to heal us? A young man once shared an experience with me on how he lost a great opportunity because of impatience. And so, frustrated with life, dejected, and just feeling really troubled, he began to complain about his job, about his family, even about God. And in his anger, he made a rash decision that cost him very, very deeply. Months later, very broken and humbled, broke to the core, financially, spiritually dry, emotionally drained, he returned. Not to success, but to surrender. Surrender to who? Surrender back to God. And it was there, in that very painful place of encounter, that he once despised, having abandoned God himself because of his predicament, that he began to find peace, he began to find healing, and he began to find clarity. On this Tuesday of our journey in the 5th week of Lent, the first reading, we see the people of Israel growing weary on their journey. They complained bitterly against God and their leader, Moses. They said, "Why have you brought us out of Egypt to die in the wilderness?" Confirmed Numbers chapter 21, verse 5. Now their hearts turned against the very God who had been leading, providing, sustaining, healing, and accompanying them. And then come the serpents, symbols of their suffering, consequences of their rebellion. They were beaten and they needed healing. But here is the mystery, brothers and sisters. When the people repented, God does not remove the serpents immediately. Instead, what did he do? And this is the very interesting part. He instructs Moses to lift up a bronze serpent on a rod, on a pole, and gave him an instruction. He says, "Tell the people, everyone who is beaten and looks up at this bronze elevated serpent, such a person shall live." Numbers chapter 21, verse 8. What is the implication of this for me and for you, for all of us? What does it mean for us? First, God does not always take away the source of our pain instantly. Sometimes he invites us to confront and face the reality and heal through it, that we can have testimonies thereafter. To look upon it, not with despair, but with faith. So the very place of our wound can become the very source and place of our healing, if only we turn back to God, the source, rather than complain. And how often, like the Israelites, do we also complain of our struggles, of our delays, of our, in quote, unanswered prayers? And so God is drawing us not away from the desert, but deeper into trusting him, the Lord of the universe. The bronze serpent is not just a symbol of suffering, it is a sign of salvation. It points us to Christ, who would later say, as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up. And this is evident in John's Gospel, chapter 3, verse 14. On the cross, Jesus becomes the place we must look, and honestly, humbly, faithfully, and dedicatedly to receive life and healing.